The Darien Athletic Foundation is proud to present high school field hockey on the DAF Media Network live from Stadium Field on the campus of Darien High School. It's the Blue Wave taking on Fairfield Warde in the season opener for both teams. Welcome in, everybody. I'm Damian Andrew, and joining me on tonight's broadcast is Guy Wasinski and the Hall of Famer, Blue Wave girls lacrosse coach Lisa Lindley, who of course played field hockey in college. She's going to drop some knowledge on us tonight, no doubt about that. But guys, this is a historic night, a special night here on the campus of Darien High School. The first night game in school history. The Blue Wave field hockey team will play under the lights. They'll become the first varsity team to play under the lights in school history. Pretty special. Guy, let me ask you, lifelong, or a longtime resident, I should say, of Darien, how special is this for the community?
I think that's the word that you just used, Damien, is community, because this truly was a community effort. Literally started 25 years ago when I first moved to this town. I still remember walking down to P&Z in Town Hall and submitting some applications and going through the process and really not understanding why we couldn't do this. But as a group, as a community, whether they be athletes, whether they be old, young, this has been a long time coming, and it's a big night for the town of Darien. And I know Lisa, sitting next to me, has been a very, very big supporter of this, and it's just going to be a great thing for our community.
Absolutely. This is phenomenal. It's groundbreaking, and we can thank people like Guy, Mark Mabel, Peter Graham, Jen Martinero, to name a few, but everyone of those people and more really put in a lot of time and energy to get this done. And we all owe a huge amount of gratitude to them.
There's going to be people like John Cini. There's going to be a very big launch here for upcoming football game as well before the start of the game with a lot of those people who've been involved. But as we look out in the field, let's get to some field hockey.
Lisa, a game like this, I always say there are games and then there are big games. Not a big game in terms of what's going on the field. The opener for both teams, they're feeling each other out, trying to figure out what works for them. But in terms of playing a game at night under the lights, how does that weigh on a player and a coach?
Well, I think it's a special, obviously it gets your adrenaline moving, and it's a different atmosphere than playing during the afternoon, so that's special in itself. But, with the first game out of the season for both of them, I think there's going to probably be a lot of nerves, and they're trying to, the coaches are trying to see what combinations are working and how they show after 2 weeks or 2.5 weeks of preseason.
So far, so good. I like this, how Darien's moving the ball. They've got some pressure up front already. That's Sydney Schrinker, who's if the ball's down or if it's anywhere near the cage, she's going to go after it.
Lisa, I mentioned in our intro, I called you the Hall of Famer. You played field hockey and lacrosse in college, as did Mo Minikis.
Yep.
She's been here. This is her 18th season, I believe.
Yes.
A lot of success.
Absolutely.
A lot of state championships, kind of like yourself. What has made her so successful, and why has this program been so successful?
Well, she's an excellent coach. She's very knowledgeable, and she's passionate, and the kids love her. And I think whatever you do in terms of whatever you coach, you have to have that energy and you have to have that passion, and she certainly has that. And she's definitely put Darien on the map for field hockey, not only in the state of Connecticut, but in the tri-state area.
Bridget Mahoney, the junior from Darien, with a shot on goal there. You just saw Darien seems to be controlling things right now early on, Lisa.
Yes, it's. I don't think Ward has gotten it past the 50-yard line yet.
Yeah, this was a key game last year for both teams. This was really the breakout game for Darien. You started talking about chemistry, Lisa, and they went to overtime, and we had a big overtime game winner at Ward last year, and that's really what kind of fired them up on their way to the state championship.
Another shot on goal for the Blue Wave. the save made by Sofia Guerrera, the junior for Fairfield Warde. She is actually their backup goalie. Their starting goalie was supposed to be Julia Warman, but she tore her ACL in the spring. It was diagnosed over the summer, so she is out for the season. Sofia Guerrera, the junior, so brand new goalie for Fairfield Warde this season. I had a chance to speak with Deirdre Hines, one of the co-coaches for Fairfield Warde. A lot of young players on this team, so this is kind of a blank slate for her going into the season.
Wow, that's a lot of pressure for not only for the goalie to be opening up against Darien, but also for the coaches. You never like to lose your starting goalie in any sport.
I mentioned Deirdre Hines. Paige Moore, the other coach for Fairfield Warde. They are sharing the head coaching responsibilities this season.
And she brings a lot of expertise and experience come over from Wilton, who's had a very strong program and is always one of the games to highlight on the FCAC schedule for Darien.
She told me earlier this week, she called Mo and said, "We have to open up against you guys on the road under the lights for the first time." Are you kidding me?
Not easy to do, and Lisa is the modest one. If you go up to UMass and you walk around the gym, you'll see Lisa's name there in the Hall of Fame for both field hockey and lacrosse. And obviously, Lisa, how many state championships do you have here at Darien High School now in lacrosse?
16.
16 and counting. And one of the nice things that I love is the way you work with Mo. As I look down on that field, you've got a number of these players who are out there right now who are going to play lacrosse in college, but being multi-sport athletes is something that both of you guys have shared over the years in a message that you have passed down to the youth in Darien.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, there's definitely room for kids to be two-sport athlete, three-sport athlete. And why wouldn't you in this town? Because all our sport programs are excellent.
Lisa, first game of the season for the Blue Wave and for Fairfield Warde, but obviously let's talk about the Blue Wave. What are you trying to do in these first 10, 15 minutes of the season?
Really just ball control, trying to control the tempo of the game and possession, which Darien is dominating on. And also to get some shots on goal, you know, whether they're quality shots or not. I think the important thing is just to get a shot on goal, get the jitters out, and you never know with a backup goalie, not very experienced. You know, I would be shooting away.
That number 11, Kendall Wazinski, a guy, nice player. You know a little bit. You know a little bit about her.
We'll see. She's got to. I'll make sure she does okay, and
she
then
just
maybe
had a nice lift.
Maybe we'll feed her some dinner tonight. Yeah. But she really enjoys playing for Mo, loves playing for Lisa, and it's part of kind of what the Blue Wave is all about in terms of growing up in the program and then getting a chance to play. And fortunate enough for her to be a captain this year with 3 other great kids. And
she is headed to the University of Richmond next year to play lacrosse. Breakaway here for the Blue Wave.
Pass.
Shot.
It.
Oh! That was
Wide
a really good pass. Who was that?
Sydney Shrinker laying out for that one. Just missed the tip. That would have been a Sports Center highlight right there. But again, Blue Wave keeping the pressure on Warde right now.
Whistle, and as I told you before the game, there's going to be a lot of whistles. there always are in field hockey.
Now, do we have our first corner of the game here, Lisa?
Looks like it, yes. Yeah. So who has the hit out?
So
23.
Kiki Tropsa will be the inserter. Am I right in that, saying that? Mm-hmm. And what's the key here?
Just really crisp ball out, clean stop, and a huge hit.
Here we go.
Yeah, good. Oh, that was nice.
Oh,
yep,
there it is.
That's nicely done.
On the rebound.
Yeah.
Kiki Tropsa.
Kiki Tropsa on the rebound.
First goal of the season.
So she inserts and she scores.
Yes.
Off the rebound.
She comes from pretty good stock, too. Kiki's dad, Jamie Tropsa, the state championship coach of the girls hockey team, and just a great guy and a great family.
Absolutely.
Okay. So with, as you can see on the scoreboard, with 22-46, Darien gets their first goal of the season.
Entering the game for Darien. Molly Hellman, number
You mentioned the captains, Lisa. For Darien, Sally Cassidy, Kendall Wazinski, Sydney Schrenker, and Kiki Tropsa. Those are your 4 captains for the Blue Wave.
And you may hear number 2. Look at Sally Cassidy go up the line. You may have remembered Georgia Cassidy, the all-time leading scorer here at Darien High School, and now has just transferred from UNC, where she was playing, to Colby College up in Maine. NESCAC is going to see some really strong play out of the Cassidy family, and proud to say Sally committed to Colby as well, and her brother's running cross country. So Waterville, Maine's going to get their fill of the Cassidy family.
Can you imagine that? Both sisters on the same college team. That's what you call special.
Yes.
Another corner here for the Blue Wave. Up top, Katie Elders.
There you go. Nice goal.
Another goal.
Yeah, nice tip.
What I like about that was unselfish play right there. They touched 4 sticks, and we've got our first time out of the game. I think Ward's seen enough. They're probably going to, try to regroup here a little bit with 21:49 left here in the first period.
How often do you practice set plays like a penalty corner? In practice, is that part of?
Yeah, it's a big part of the game.
Big part.
I don't know how much Mo practices that, but I would think at least 30 to 45 minutes on corners.
So while we have a break here, at least not to put you on the spot, but talking about kids going to college. So Peter Lindley lit it up this year down at Roanoke. Had one heck of a season, and Kevin, your son, was the Connecticut Player of the Year here in lacrosse.
Yes.
And really, really big mark, became the all-time leading scorer in lacrosse for Darien High School. And I've got 2 kids down at school at TCU, and my son wears a jersey that says Darien Lacrosse, and people literally know Darien Lacrosse down in Fort Worth, Texas. So for Kevin to have that kind of season, you had to be pretty proud. And between pretty good genes with Pete Lindley playing a lot of baseball up at Yale, you at UMass, and now at Roanoke and at Loyola for Kevin.
Yeah, I mean, it's very special, watching both my sons come through the program at the high school, part of the boys lacrosse team, under Jeff, and obviously they've had so much success. But it is bittersweet because now it's all over for me personally with my kids. But I guess that's why, I stay involved in coaching, because I have my other kids coming along, my girls. So, but it was very special. And, Kevin had a great year, and he was very happy about that, and we're thrilled for him.
Well, with 16 state championships, Lisa, I think you've probably got about 2,000 girls who call you mom or coach. So, and one of the nice things about you guys watching at home, whether you be alumni, fans, friends, grandparents, technology, this is a good thing, where you can click on and you'll be able to watch both of the boys play next year, D1, D3.
Absolutely. That's how I do it. I mean, to be honest with you, if I couldn't do it, I would have stopped coaching years ago, because I could coach a game, quickly go home, get on the computer, watch Peter, then watch Kevin if it's an away game, because DAF is streaming it. It was amazing.
And so we are really lucky. Damien, who was doing the broadcast today, is now going to be spearheading the Darien Athletic Foundation television network. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that and what that's going to mean for our community and the games to watch.
It is an exciting venture, and as you mentioned, Guy, we will talk more about it. Another breakaway here for the Blue Wave, the save by Guerrera.
Now that's a corner because it popped up.
Lisa, Deirdre Hines, during that timeout, what is she telling her young team?
John Cini in the house.
I think she's telling her defenders to mark up.
Yep.
Because the Darien players are getting behind them, and they're wide open. The ball's scooting through, and they're just tipping it right in. It's very effortlessly.
I like how Kiki's keeping that down. A lot of times that ball will bounce off the corner in the insert, and it's tough to control. But we've moved the ball. We've already got a goal here on one of the corners.
Molly Hellman, the sophomore, almost had herself a goal there, wide right. Takeaway, Darien.
That's Bridget Mahoney. Good speed, nice ball. Oh, that's a good move around the defender.
Sally, good wheels right there. Kiki laying it out.
Darien has been applying the pressure, no doubt about that, in this first half. 20-25 left, 2-0 Blue Wave on the first night game in school history.
Saw Kiki Tropsa do that in the state semifinal game with a broken arm to win in double overtime. Take them to the finals. Wow.
Another goal for the Blue Wave. And that's number 2, Sally Cassidy, with the goal there.
That was unfortunate for the Ward defender. She mishit the free hit, and our player just came in and made that pass, and it was an easy goal.
That's one of those things where you have to capitalize, and Cassidy saw it, went hard, and nice to hit the back of the net. So, Lisa, when you do a face-off in lacrosse, obviously it's fair game.
Yep.
In this case, in most cases, they're going to try to basically set something up for an offense here?
Yeah, they're trying to get the ball in their offensive end. And most times in field hockey, you want to work the ball up the right side of the field and then cross it to the left.
And that's what Hannah Regal just did. You know, I'll tell you what, she's one of 4 girls that's played here at Darien High School. All have had great careers, and that ball was flying across the brand new turf here at Darien.
Hey, don't forget, get your grub on. Head on down to
Under 20 minutes left in the first half. The Blue Wave up 3-zip.
Not only did we wait a long time to get these lights, but when we did it right. If you are here at the stadium, you'll see the covers on these lights, and they are LED. They could stay on all day and cost the town of Darien a total of $6 a day. The LED lights, yeah, they are amazing. And when we turned them on 2 weeks ago, it's truly a box of light. And from a safety standpoint, in terms of practicing at night, having some place to play, so literally you're not having to go into parking lots to walk through plays where lights were, it's also going to be another a big game changer for the town.
Absolutely.
Guys, I just want to mention we have no clock on our broadcast. We apologize for that. It is our first broadcast of the season, so we'll be updating you on the time as we go, and we'll hopefully have that resolved for future broadcasts. We can link up to the scoreboard here at Stadium Field.
And we've got 18 minutes left here in the first half, 3-0 Darien. You know, I've gone to a few of the scrimmages, and this is definitely, from an offensive standpoint, the best Darien's looked so far this year. They've played some tough teams in Convent of Sacred Heart, GA, and we're more on the defensive side. But here, they're definitely controlling the offense.
Yeah, it looks like it.
You know, Lisa, we were talking about all your success in lacrosse. As we mentioned, Mo has had a Hall of Fame career as well as a coach. 8 state titles since 2007. We talked a little bit about, Mo and I talked a little bit about last year's state championship. Little bittersweet. They would have liked to have that outright, but they share a state championship in Class L with Staples. And so this year they're shooting for a solo crown.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of shared title. I think at the end of the day, you have to have a winner and you have to have a loser. as hard as that can be for some teams, I think you owe it to everyone on the field, especially in that game. Would they go to 3 overtimes?
Two overtimes.
Yeah, 2 overtimes, and then, it's just to end it in a tie or whatever. I think that's kind of a letdown, but at the end of the day, it's still a state title.
I think if you had 100 girls on the team
Yeah.
and you asked them that question, all 100 say, let's play it out. And unfortunate, it's obviously there was some thought that went into that, and they do play back-to-back-to-back games in Wethersfield for the championship. And but I know, we pretty much dominated that game, but at the end of the day, it's still a state championship, but it's a little bit like kissing your sister, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we've had state championships like that where we've blown teams out, and our true state championship was our semifinal game. So you much rather have like a hard-fought battle in the finals and then come away with a victory.
As the dust sets, the lights go on, and there won't be much of a transition here. Part of the LED technology, which Musco is the leading company in the world that does this, has over 90% of the market.
You mentioned it earlier, Guy. The Darien Athletic Foundation, through their efforts and a number of other people throughout the Darien community, these lights are now in place, ready to go for this entire school year. So each varsity team this fall will get a chance to play under the lights here at Stadium Field.
And as they progress, and hopefully they will, into the state playoffs and into the FCX, we are now going to be allowed to host those games, which was always difficult for a lot of these kids to have to go to Norwalk and literally play a home game, but at a opposing school's field. And they've been great to share it with us, but it's just not the same. And as we see the crowd filing in here, we've got a nice crowd here for some field hockey tonight. Just a little unfortunate that the boys' football team was playing up at Ridgefield tonight as well. And we'll try to keep you posted on that score.
You read my mind, Guy. I was just going to get that score.
It's got 14:30 left here in the first half, and good action back and forth. Don't let those skirts fool you, right, Lisa? They're playing hard. I'm looking over here at one of the unsung heroes here, John Cini, who's now chairman of the P&Z committee, but had an awful lot to do with this 12 years ago. Didn't know the guy. He walked up and said, we got to figure this out for the town, and one of the main contributors to make this happen. She's had a good day already in net. I mean,
I was just going to say the same thing. For a first-year starter to come into a situation like this. I know it's 3-0 Blue Wave, but she has had some shots on goal, and she's come up with some nice saves.
Absolutely. That was a rocket, a reverse shot there.
Let's talk about goalies, Lisa. The mindset of a goalie. I mean, you see it. It's got to be a little different than your normal player, right?
Oh, yeah. You have to be able to shake things off quickly. Got to be very strong mentally, and you have to stay focused. If you can't do those 3 things, you're not going to be successful as a goalie.
Robin Spivey, I know, is the goalie coach here at Darien, works hard with these girls, and you've got a kind of a proud moment. I saw Kaylee Waters, the starter at UNC, was the first-round draft choice of the professional women's lacrosse?
Yep, to Philadelphia, which is amazing. It was unanimous, and very happy for her. She'll have continue her tremendous career that she had at UNC. In the professionals, and it's groundbreaking. We also had Christy Gilbert, one of my captains in 2013. She also got drafted. So we're very proud of all our former players that are playing in the professional league.
That is fantastic. And I know the MLL draft last year, we had both Henry West and Case Mathias went in that draft. And, the sport continues to grow. And it's, Darien's become a hotbed with the boys being the national champions this year in men's lacrosse, and girls are always in the top 10, and something you're pretty proud of.
Absolutely. I would like to get in the top 5, but that hasn't happened there lately. But maybe next year we can break that. We're certainly playing some top teams. We just added St. Stephen's, St. Agnes, so they're number 2 in the nation.
Great.
We're going down to Pennsylvania to play them. So nice
Another
shot,
goal.
nice goal. It's a tip, and I think, was that Kendall?
I'm not sure, but either way, I like the play. Whoever set that up from the far side drove it in, and
Sydney
Schrenker going for the ball.
Sydney Schrenker makes it 4-0 Blue Wave. 11:43 left in the first half here at Stadium Field on the campus of Darien High School.
Well, for this one to go into double overtime last year, I think Mo's got to be pretty happy with the score the way it is right now at 4-0 with 11:40 left to play in the first half.
Yeah, 4 goals in field hockey is a lot. So they're off to a great start first half.
Boy, Kiki Trop she's just tough as nails, isn't she,
yeah.
Lisa? I know.
The one thing I love about Kiki, lacrosse-wise, and it looks like the same thing applies in field hockey, she's very versatile. She can play defense, she can play offense, and she's the type of kid that, as a coach, you can put her anywhere, and not only does she do a good job, but she has a great attitude. Anything for the team. It's not about herself, it's about the team and whatever she can do to help it win.
Guy, you mentioned she's tough as nails. She also plays ice hockey, I believe, too.
Yeah,
so a 3-sport athlete. Yeah, three-sport athlete. That's saying something in today's day and age when we've become so specialized.
And one of the very cool moments that I've seen in town sports last year in overtime. We were up in somewhere, I think it was in Hamden, overtime goal. It was her first game back. She'd broken her arm, and she's laying out and tips the goal in, and they send them to the state finals in the semis. And I just looked at Jamie afterwards. I'm like, and somebody got a little bit teary-eyed, and it wasn't me.
As I look out on the field, these lights, these LED lights, it's
amazing.
It's just amazing. It really is. There is a glow on the field. It's very different than what you normally see.
Yes, like I was just going to say, compared to when we play at New Canaan, which when the lights first come on in New Canaan, they're blinding on the sidelines. This is not blinding, which is amazing.
Okay, kick it back in. That's one of those plays where sometimes on these corners, I personally like the one-timer.
Yeah.
Let it rip, and then everybody rushes the net, and someone's going to get a tip. And but they obviously have to mix it up a little bit.
Penalty corner defensive unit.
Mm-hmm.
What's the objective there? What are you trying to do?
Well, you have your fastest person. You designate one person that's called the flyer. They're rushing out to the person who's taking the hit on goal. Then you have someone inside the post. Then you have someone right behind the flyer, and then the other defenders are matching up down low.
Basically, you want to be as disruptive as possible.
Yeah. Yeah, but you're also strategically covering the net because when the goalie comes out, you have to have someone covering the backside pole.
We just saw that within about 20 seconds. We went from the left hash, across the field, up the right side, and they just moved that very, very well. And I know there's some teams that like to play the long ball. Mm-hmm. Kind of drill it and go chase it, where I know Mo is a big fan of keeping control of the ball and then going hard up the wings.
Yeah, that's more of the college game.
And, again, this turf, the ball is moving well. Brand new stadium turf. It was replaced after 12 years. Looked like a little push right there. But so first night on the field, first night with the lights, and I think that the field hockey girl – whoa!
So nice.
Another shot.
Yeah, that was Katie Elders.
Yeah, Katie Elders.
Just wide left.
Katie's got 2 speeds, fast and faster, right?
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned that guy. Mo said that one of the real strengths of this team is speed and their athleticism.
Again, Katie, a multi-sport athlete, going to play at the college level, an absolute great kid, and obviously, Lisa, you've seen it, and I'll never forget that you inserted her freshman year in a very big game over at McMahon under the lights, and all of a sudden she came up with 3 draws in a row and
changed the game.
Yep.
For us, because we got possession and then we were able to capitalize and score and come back and eventually win that game. But absolutely, she was the difference maker in that game.
And as you mentioned, guys, she's headed to Dartmouth where she will play lacrosse.
Very unselfish player. They've got a good one coming up to Hanover.
12 returning players on this Darien team. Warde, only 7 seniors, 1 returning player from last year. So we mentioned earlier how young this Warde team is, and they certainly are.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's a good cross ball.
Yep.
That's a good save. Oh, nice lift.
The lift up top for the goal.
Was that Shay?
That's Shay Vandenbroek. Another hockey player getting it done here on the field hockey pitch.
That was top corner right there. Really good shot, Shay Vandenbroek. She learned that from Bill Kirby, who just walked by us here, who coached her for many years in hockey.
So it's 6:21 left in the first half. It is 5-0 Blue Wave. Season opener, first home game under the lights, and these lights are special.
I think people are just looking out there saying, holy cow, look at this. And, you know, one time there were a lot of discussions when we had big town meetings that there was going to be light spillage, there's going to be this, there's going to be that. This is a box of light, almost to the point where maybe we could use a little bit more light in the grandstands here. But it's all on the field, and that was what was discussed with the neighbors, and they're going to make sure that we hold to those commitments.
You know, I know the Blue Wave football team is on the road at Ridgefield, but I tell you, terrific crowd here tonight for this field hockey opener on what is just a beautiful night weather-wise.
Absolutely.
And I think they've got, you know, close to 300 girls in the youth field hockey program now in Darien.
You know, you bring that up, and I was going to ask you this. That's kind of a situation that's, you know, it's a great situation to have, but boy, you really got to make cuts. I mean, you get a lot of kids trying out for these teams. That's a good situation to have, though.
Yes and no.
This is what we hope for with a community feel. I'm looking over at the at the pavilion now, where we have a great concession stand. Looks like there's probably 50 people over there, kind of loading up on some dinner. And where would you rather have them? You know, hanging out, and it's a little bit easier for mom and dad. You know, get a hot dog, have a hamburger, come back in the stands, and you know, it's one of the things that, when you talk to other towns, even real estate people, they bring people in New Canaan on Friday nights because they see the community out there and they get a feel. And I think that's what we're so excited about here long term for Darien.
There's a good shot there, guys, on the TV.
We're going to try to touch base with Mo at halftime before she goes into the locker room for her quick talk. Get her feel on how she felt the team did here in the first half. But I would say so far so good, Lisa.
Oh, yeah. They're dominating play. I don't think Warde has had a shot on goal.
Great wide shot here of the field with those lights. Very picturesque.
And a lot of thought went in even to the end zones, with the white end zones, with the Darien blue in there, because you're going to have soccer, you're going to have lacrosse, you're going to have field hockey, football.
I love the white end zone. I think that's amazing.
Sharp.
Yeah, very sharp.
And as you just mentioned, Guy, we said a little while ago, each varsity team will have a chance to play under these lights at least once this season.
And what they did well with the field, too, is a lot of thought. Jen Montanaro, Pete Graham, Lou Giswaldi. You don't see all different colored lines out here in the field, and I'm sure they consulted with you, too, Lisa, in terms of, try not to, make it very confusing with the yellows and oranges and reds out there.
Under 3 minutes left here in the first half. Darien leads Fairfield Warde 5-0. Season opener for both teams. First ever night game in school history for Darien.
And Damian Andrews' first broadcast of many here with the Darien Athletic Foundation television. Again, real thrilled to have you on board, Damian. It's going to be great.
It's a pretty awesome vision that the Darien Athletic Foundation has, and we are I'm thrilled to be here. Excited to see a lot of familiar faces and old friends.
Ooh.
Kick save and a butte right there. Okay, looks like we've got another corner.
Now it's a hit coming in because the girl, it hit her foot.
Okay.
I'm not sure what that call was.
Those are the ones that drive you crazy as a dad sitting in the stands.
If you're not sure, then Guy and I certainly aren't sure what that call was.
And it's Schwartzman out back. I know she's Mo's keeping a lot of fresh legs in the game right now. A lot of kids getting time. So here's the other thing about, I had a daughter who I'm fortunate enough, I think, between the two of them, my daughter Eliza and Kendall, I think there's about 5 field hockey state championships they've been part of. I've sat and watched, and I never even realized that there's only one side of the stick that you can dribble on, right? It's not like hockey.
Yeah, you have to turn your wrists over.
And so if you're born a left-hander,
it's a disadvantage.
Well, I guess it worked for Phil Mickelson in golf, born a right-hander, and his father showed him how to play golf because he kept looking in the mirror and saying, this is what you want to do, and he's, righty-lefty. But the field hockey side, I'm just like, I'm not getting it.
It is hard.
But you'll see the ball go up the right side more often than left just because
you're playing against the defender's backside, reverse side, so it's harder for them to defend you versus when you go up the left side, you're going up to the defender's stick side.
Lisa, we got to give a shout out to a mutual friend of ours, longtime Darien person, Lisa Wensberg.
Oh, yeah. Ooh. Lisa.
For many, many years.
She epitomizes Darien Blue Wave. She had her heart and soul in this town, this school, the sports, regardless whether her kids played or not.
She had a wedding tonight. She would have been back from Glastonbury, Massachusetts tonight. But if she's listening, I'd love to say a shout out because I agree, her spirit epitomized Blue Wave pride.
Lisa's one of my best friends, so we miss her down here.
We're going to have Mo Minikis up here for a quick interview at the half, Lisa. What can you say? 5-0, like you said, 4-0, four goals, a lot of goals in a field hockey game. So
this is domination. Now I think Mo's probably saying, let's get everyone in, play everyone, because I think they could easily get the score up to 10.
Certainly this is what you like to see in your season opener, in front of a great crowd, 5-0. What impressed you about the Blue Wave in that first half?
I thought they moved the ball well. I thought they had good stick skills, and certainly their corners looked good.
That's what stands out
Yeah.
to me is their stick skills. I mean,
Right.
they are just so precise, and you could just see that they dominated play. We're going to get Mo in here real quick. Mo, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Lisa and I were just talking. Dominated the first half. I know you were going into the game. When we talked the other day. You were, you never know what to expect. First night game, home opener. You have to be pleased with the way your team played.
I'm very pleased. I think they're really excited to be playing under the lights tonight, to be honest. The locker room was on fire before, dancing and singing. They weren't even focused on the game. But really pleased with how they came out, how they're connecting now. I mean, a couple of little blips at the beginning of the game, but I think they got it together. They're working the ball really well, moving it quickly. And I'm loving our big balls this year. Not being afraid to hit the ball and make something happen.
We were talking about the penalty corner unit before the game, and you were a little unsure of that, but it's produced some goals, so you have to be pleased with that unit.
Yes. We focused the last couple of days on really the mental part of a corner and shooting with a purpose and not just sending it at the cage, and really working on angling it out wide for your teammate to finish for you, and they've done that.
Well, listen,
They've done a good job.
We're not going to keep you here much longer because I know you got to talk to your team, but thanks for coming up for a few minutes and talk to us at the half. 5-0 Blue Wave, end of the first half here at Stadium Field on the campus of Darien High School. Mo, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Now, that truly is the daughter of she's the coach's daughter. Her father, Tom Flaherty, up in been coaching at Pentucket High School up in Groveland, Massachusetts, right outside of Newburyport. 42 years coaching high school football. While his son, was lighting it up in the Turkey Bowl and or his grandson, he was actually still coaching up there and missed some of those games. But through technology, was able to. And talking about Mo's son, Colin, this year, freshman up at Amherst, NESCAC Rookie of the Year. Had 8 assists and a goal against Tufts when Tufts was ranked number 2 in the country. Little number 7 lit it up.
Had a great rookie season, freshman season up there. We were talking earlier in the first half, some multi-sport athletes. Back in our day, that was commonplace, not so much anymore. What does it take to play 3 sports, 2 sports in today's day and age at the high school level?
The reality is when they're playing 2 sports or 3 sports, they're actually also putting in time and practicing the sport that they're actually going to be playing on the next level. So when I have kids that are playing field hockey, they won't pick up a lacrosse stick right now, but pretty much week right after they're picking up the lacrosse stick, getting ready for the lacrosse season. So I think you have to devote even more time and effort, I think, to staying in shape and being able to multitask, I guess, is the word.
Damien, can I just interrupt for one second? As we look down on the field, you'll see a group down there. It's a bunch of youth kids who are going to be coming out, and I know I have the pleasure tomorrow of being at in Fayetteville, Arkansas for the TCU Arkansas game. But TCU used to have like 5,000 people that would show up for a football game.
Yeah.
Gary Patterson, their coach, engaged the town. Now these young kids run out in front of 60,000 people every single game. But people say, how does Darien do it? How do they reload?
Yeah.
You look down at the youth program. Mo's engaged, you're engaged. I mean, eventually those kids are going to be wanting to play for you at the high school level.
Oh, absolutely. And, I can just talk from lacrosse perspective. Darien Youth Lacrosse is one of the, if not the largest youth lacrosse organizations in the nation. And there's no doubt that I am given a lot of talent every year. And, I'm very, very fortunate.
Well, you were part of that talent. And one of the things that even with the football, when I was involved with Darien Youth Football, we got, when Rob Trefone came on board, I grew up in a town in upstate New York before I moved to New Hampshire, and we had 8 teams midgets, 8 teams peewees, 8 teams bantams. They were all from the same town in Clifton Park, New York. You learn the offense as a 4th, 5th, 6th grader, and one of the great things that Rob has done since he's brought in on the football program is he's brought that offense and the defense to the Darien Junior Football League. So by the time they become freshmen,
They know it.
running
Yeah,
a spread offense is not a
that's-
big deal.
Yeah, that's good.
But that I think that goes down, and obviously, Lisa, I know how much you travel with the Grizzlies, here Darien Youth Lacrosse, the house leagues, the jamborees, and for these kids, it's a big deal.
Oh,
And
yeah, absolutely. And the opportunities that they're being afforded is amazing. So it's great to see. And I think what I've seen as a head coach is as each youth year gets to me at high school, they're a little bit more, or they're just better each year.
Yep.
They come in. They're better prepared. Some of my alumni who live in town now, they've come back and watched some games, and they've come up to me and they're like, these girls are amazing. They could have killed us if during the time that we were in school. And I'm like, really?
And it's I think part of that too is the stick work, Lisa, and the skills that go along with it. It's one thing to be fast, it's one thing to be aggressive, but if you don't have the stick work and you don't have the skills,
Right. Yeah. Well, yeah, you can't go far.
Guys, while you were talking about the great youth programs here, we talked about this venture by the Darien Athletic Foundation to live stream these games. And one of the really cool things about that is that people are watching. Grandparents who don't live in the area can check it out. And Carrie Blatney, a senior defender for the Blue Wave, her grandparents are checking out this live stream in Garden City on Long Island. So
Nice.
Just a shout out to Donna and Ed McCoy. Thanks for watching.
well, and your granddaughter's having a heck of a game. She's played very well. Looks like we're ready to start here in the second half.
And also her brother Burke is at Bucknell, and he's listening in, which is also very cool.
So that's all thanks to a big shout out at the end of this table, a guy named Bruce Ferguson, who has kind of created this along with Mark Maybell, and it just keeps getting better and better. And the headsets that we're on were actually owned by Bruce, and he's donated all this, the great electronics that we're using right now, and so we're very appreciative. The man behind the scenes.
Guy, you can continue to say those nice things because Bruce and Mark essentially are my new bosses. So that's always good.
Well, they've called me Guy Suck Up Ski before, so.
I'm not going to comment.
Is this an opportunity now? You alluded to it a little earlier at the end of the first half. An opportunity for Mo to get some of her younger players some time.
Yes.
When you're up 5 goals,
Right.
obviously you're in a pretty good situation.
Yes, I don't think she has to worry about losing the game.
And I would imagine that's got to be a good thing in a season opener like this. It gets you a chance to get some of those younger players some time and see what they can do.
Yes, because typically in a field hockey game, there's not many substitutes that go in during the game.
Yeah, our town is hopping tonight. After this, a lot of people heading over to Tilly Pond. There's a benefit for Freddie Tuccinardi, who's been a big part of Darien. Big fundraiser headed by Baywater Properties. So if you're listening and you're in town, make sure you head over there. It's another great reason to get out with the family.
Another corner opportunity for the Blue Wave. Doesn't go their way. They get it right back, though. In front.
Love the way they're going to the ball. Lisa, whether it's basketball, lacrosse, field hockey, at least in my years of coaching, you got to go to the ball, right?
Yeah. Be aggressive, cut back to the ball.
And when you're around the ball, good things happen.
Absolutely.
Darien in white, Fairfield Warde in black. We're in the second half here. 27-20 left in the second half in the game. 5-0 Darien. It has been all blue wave in this one.
And we weren't kidding about the box of light because we're up with our phones with our lights on just trying to read the rosters right now. It's there is no spillage, that is for sure. Now, if you're a coach, we heard from Mo at halftime, but if you're the co-coaches over at Warde, you want to get your kids, keep them engaged. What are you looking to do in the second half?
Honestly, I would really just try to keep the score down and prevent Darien from pulling away even further. I think it would be nice to see Warde get it over the 50-yard line and get a shot on goal. I think that would be a positive thing for them to work the ball up into our offensive end.
And again, I was at that Warde game last year, and they played great. Damien, to your point, graduated, I think you said 12 seniors or in that ballpark. Warde did last.
Yeah, Warde did. Only 17. In fact, only one returning starter this season. Only one returning starter, number 7. She's a captain, Lily Chernisky.
So they've got a young team, and there's Lily making a good play right there. But boy, Bridget Mahoney, she's got some wheels, and she likes to go to the goal. She's going to be a key player for Darien this year.
And another corner opportunity for the Blue Wave. We talking about Tropsa, Kiki, as an inserter, get that ball out quick. She certainly does do that.
Oh, yes. I think with her hockey skills, it just really translates over to field hockey in this situation.
Part of the key here is to keep that ball down right here. I'd love to see big ball right there. Get it in front.
Another opportunity here.
Go. That's a good save.
Another good save, as we mentioned in the first half, for a first-year starting goalie.
Out. Oh,
that's a goal.
Love the never say die attitude right there.
That's a goal.
18.
Shea Vandenbroek.
Shea had a great shot on goal, but someone basically kept that ball alive and
on the end line, yeah.
Got it out, and again, good things happen when you're around the ball.
So many opportunities off rebounds tonight for just going to the cage.
Right. I mean, in field hockey, you'll have a lot of opportunities like that. So if you do get the ball on net and you have some good tippers that can get the ball behind the net, the goalkeeper can score a lot of goals that way.
As I'm looking down here, I also have to give another big shout out to a family who's a big Darien athletic family, headed by Peggy Barthol, who did all the administrative work for years just for the portable lights. I know she was a little banged up and had some foot surgery this past week and would love to be here, but she said by heck or high water she's going to be here for the football game when it's coming up. But Charlie and Peggy have been huge advocates of what we've done here. And their oldest son Ryan, I had the pleasure of coaching in youth football. He was the 5-year in his last year he was the head manager of the Wisconsin football team. And let me tell you,
that's a full-time job.
That's a full-time job. He was 6'5", and he grabbed some touchdowns while he was at Darien High School. But really, he did an awful lot of work with players like Monty Ball, who he helped tutor. And there's sports teach you an awful lot outside of just being on the field, right, Lisa?
Oh, absolutely. And managers of teams like that, the big D1 schools, typically those kids get on scholarship.
There's another goal for Darien.
Looks like
And
we're spreading the wealth, and I'll tell you what, that just
Was that
builds
Scheller?
just builds confidence, doesn't it, Lisa?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. That was Dropsa.
Goal scored by Katie Elders.
Katie Elders. 22.
It's hard to see.
It is hard.
It's hard to see, and they're all going hard for the ball, so it's that's a good thing.
Guy, you mentioned the football team. They are leading Ridgefield 14-6 in the first half.
Down at Tiger Hollow.
Tiger Hollow, which is a great facility, great place to watch a football game. And
Great.
this will now become a destination on Friday nights to watch football, no doubt about it.
Absolutely, and Ridgefield's good. That's a good football team. Rob's got a smaller line, graduated a lot of kids on the football side, but they are quick. And we're talking about Minikis. We talked about Colin, and now we've got
Brian.
his brother Brian, who is on his way to Colgate to play lacrosse, but one of the captains of the football team here in Darien too, better known as B Minnow, and expecting big things out of B Minnow this year.
Well, I have 3 sons, and Mo has 4. So there 2 more are on their way. No, Mo has 2 more, right? Coming through the coming
yes.
through. No, not don't give me that look.
She looked pretty slim when she was using my headset.
Okay, guys.
We're having a little too much fun here. It's 23-14 left in the game. 7-0 Darien, a complete domination by the Blue Wave in this one. They have played well, and we have mentioned throughout how they have just kept attacking and kept the pressure on, and
Dominating,
yeah.
And I'll tell you what I like about that is there are a lot of people who are touching that ball. This is not, we mentioned Georgia Cassidy, and she was a true star, and she was an unselfish player, but you're seeing a lot of girls with the ball on their sticks tonight, and that's a good thing for the Blue Wave.
Well, Mo told me earlier in the week that one of the strengths will be the midfield, and that certainly has played out in this game, no doubt about it.
Yes, I think Bridget Mahoney stands out. She's basically controlling where the ball's going. I think she's, strong in the midfield. Katie Elders, obviously. Their wing play by Kiki and Kendall, certainly strong.
So, this is a good game for them to get a feel, get that rhythm, because I think you're going to have some girls that were going to play forward, some girls will play midfield, but we're getting scoring from the forwards, from the wings, and from the midfielders, which is what you want.
It's a good ball. Kiki. Yeah.
Now, they went too quickly, Lisa? Is that kind of what they're calling?
Restart for Darien here.
That's a nice ball. Nice pass by Kendall.
Okay. Do we have a corner there?
No,
nope,
they called
just
it.
outside.
Yeah.
Nice ball movement, though.
Yes.
And another great opportunity for the Blue Wave. Come up a little bit short that time.
I got an earful from my daughter the first night she came down, and they put the turf in, and they'd only put in half of the pellets. Good break here for Ward. And she said, there's no way we can play field hockey on that. I said, wait a second. I think there's more to come here, and it has. And it's actually nice to see the ball moving as well as it is on this turf.
Yeah, the turf looks great. Having played on the old turf last spring, it really was at the end of its life.
We were talking off camera before this game started, the difference between playing on grass and playing on turf. How much does that change this game of field hockey?
Field hockey, it's a huge difference. Even when you go from this type of turf, which is a field turf, to AstroTurf, which typically all the colleges play on now, the ball moves, like Guy said, amazingly faster.
And they water down those
Yep.
fields at the college level, and it's much more the old AstroTurf with
Yes.
just a hard surface. And again, these girls had the pleasure of playing on that at the Confidence Sacred Heart the other night, who just put in a brand new field, and that ball really does fly. Sydney Schrinker, some good stick movement right there. Ball in front. Wow, a lot of pressure.
Couple of nice saves by the Ward keeper, Guerrera.
She has been
Sophia Guerrera.
Tested, and she is battle tested. She's doing very, very well. This literally, it's a 7-0 game. Could be 14-0 without Guerrera in the net.
Yes,
yeah, no,
I
you've been
agree with that.
impressed with her.
Yes, yeah.
Another corner opportunity here for Darien.
That's a nice ball, nice cross, and she's wide open.
Looked like she was going with the lifter.
Oh,
Did that go
nice.
That went
Oh,
in.
they called her.
They
They
called
called
it.
it out, going out
in? Ooh.
before she got the shot off.
Hey, Bruce, can we see that again? No, we're not that advanced yet.
We're not there yet, Guy. We will be there someday, but we're not there quite yet.
It's injury timeout.
I mentioned the Ward keeper, Sophia Guerrera. We've been talking a lot about her. The girl who was supposed to start this season, Julia Warman, tore her ACL during softball season. Wasn't diagnosed until over the summer.
Wow.
And so they don't have her, obviously. And sometimes you have to go with what you've got.
You know,
Yeah, she's done a heck of a job.
She has done a nice job.
Guerrera's not tall, but she's playing big back there, and you know, that's something for Ward to build on. I mean, you have someone young who's who's in cage and you can count on. That's definitely something to build on.
You had mentioned Deirdre Hines earlier in the first half. Longtime coach at Wilton, did a great job with that program. Nice to see her taking over the Ward program, and certainly give her some time, and they'll get things up and running, no doubt.
Yeah, Deirdre's a great coach, well respected in the league, and I'm glad that she is continuing to coach.
And good for Fairfield for seeing that too,
Yeah.
because she left Wilton. I don't know all the specifics, but not in the best way. And from what I understand, people who know her, kids who played for her, loved her. And good to see her, getting a shot here, and now being the co-head coach here for Fairfield Warde.
Well, I can tell you this, in talking to Ward's athletic director the other day, Seth Fry, he recruited her. He wanted her. He knew she was available, and he knew what she brought to the table, and he wanted to get her in at
Smart
Ward.
guy.
Yep.
Good for you, Seth. Looks like they're trying to set something up from the wing here. This is where Darien has been pretty strong over the years, is going with the big ball from the corner and then looking for the people on the tips.
Well, if I was an AD and I needed a varsity girls lacrosse coach, the woman sitting to my left would certainly be on my short list.
Trust me, I heard that story from a number of college coaches who all refer to Lisa as Grizz. I remember talking with Kirsten Kimmel at Duke, and she said, "Oh my God, how's Grizz doing?" She said, when we played on the national team together, and I think Kirsten that year had won the national championship at Maryland, she said, "I didn't see anybody, who was grittier and more aggressive than Lisa." And she said, I'm shocked that she hasn't coached the D1 level. And I said, if you came to Darien, you'd understand why. I said, what you've done with such a great job with the youth program, with how many, you've got to probably have 200 kids, Lisa, over the years play at the next level.
Yes,
And then
that's
some.
around right. Yep. That wasn't all, just to comment on that. That wasn't always my plan to end up at the high school. I was in college coaching. I coached at UMass, and I coached 2 seasons at Yale. And the plan was, my husband was only going to work 5 more years in the city, and then we were going to move to wherever I got a coaching job. Well, that 5 years turned into 15 years, and my career ended up in high school, which I am not sorry about. I wouldn't have traded it for a moment, and I'm much happier influencing young women at this level than being competitive at college level.
Sometimes life just happens.
Yeah, I didn't have a choice.
And sometimes other people benefit from those choices.
That's right.
And so
That's
many
right.
kids and the kids that you've taught, personally going through it, Lisa, I was just amazed at how many people know you at that next level. They respect the program. So when a kid shows up at a Cal or at a Florida or a Richmond or a Duke, they know what they're getting coming out of Darien, and you should feel good about that.
Yeah, thank you. I do. Thank you.
You've got some time, but you're still hungry. Head on over to the
And we do have, unfortunately, we have a little sad news. The captain this year of the Stanford, 2 years in a row of the Stanford lacrosse team, her father, John Shane, passed away the last couple of days after a long battle. They had a beautiful moment of silence here, leaves 3 great kids and a terrific family. And he had an awful lot to do when we look back and you see the people who volunteer, who are the givers. John Shane was one of those people.
John was an incredible giver in terms of everything. He was a great friend, great father, very well respected, had the hugest heart, and just I so enjoyed talking to him after a game and analyzing what went on, and it truly amazed me that a lot of people never knew John was a big-time wide receiver at BC.
At BC.
Because he was not the type of guy that would say, hey, I played football at BC. You know, he was humble, and his kids are the same, and God, he was so proud of them, and his wife, Patty, amazing person, amazing family, and I can't say enough about Dylan and Tara. They're 2 of my, obviously former captain and player, and just wonderful people.
Well, John leaves a true legacy on this town, obviously through his kids. And, how often do you find a player, Dylan Shane, a 2-year captain at Stanford, going all the way across the country, and her work ethic, her team as a leader, a lot of that trickles down from mom and dad, and they have a lot to be proud of.
Oh, yeah. Most people don't know this, but Dylan got 5 D1 offers. And, people, they may say they got an offer, but Dylan really did get 5 D1 offers. She had to decide between Princeton, Harvard, Stanford, Virginia, and UNC.
Pretty impressive stuff.
Yeah.
Stanford's not a bad place to get a degree from either.
Well, what was fun, we got a chance to see Dylan play here last year. You remember when she was here and Stanford was coming through? I think they were
playing Yale. Yep.
They were playing Yale. Came back and saw the coaches watching, but they got a chance to play on our field too, didn't they?
Yes, they practiced here, and it was an awesome opportunity for not only our kids to see the college kids coming off the bus and practicing, and Dylan, the newspaper came, and Steve Bono was filming him, and it was a great opportunity and great time. And actually, John came and we watched together up in the press box. The 2-hour practice that they had, and it was fun.
That's one of those things where if you're a young person and you're part of the program and you're a 5th grader, and you see the Stanford lacrosse team coming off the bus in Darien's parking lot, you start setting goals for yourself and saying, holy cow, okay, this just doesn't happen, and I know Dylan does a lot, and I've read about what they do with the community in Palo Alto, with some of the less fortunate in the LA area, and it's very, very rewarding and impressive. So we've got, again, I know you guys don't have the clock at home, but we've got 12:15 left. It's Darien kind of in a blowout here. It's 7-0 right now, but we're having a good one under the lights here in Darien, and it's what we were hoping for.
This has been a lot of fun, and I can't thank you both enough for doing this. This is you're leading the way.
Thank you.
This is great.
For having us.
We're not the professionals. We're just having fun.
You sure sound like it. I'll tell you that much.
I know, Guy. You're never lost for words.
My wife said that a couple times, too, over the years.
You played both sports in college,
Mm-hmm.
field hockey, lacrosse. You've probably been asked this a million times. Was there one that you favored more than the other?
Well, here's the thing. I never played lacrosse in high school because my high school team didn't have it. So I went to college on a field hockey scholarship. I played field hockey at a very high level for many, many years. So lacrosse, when I picked up lacrosse, it was newer, it was faster, and at that point, I think I was just burnt out on field hockey. So I obviously love lacrosse, but I appreciate the skill required for field hockey, and field hockey will always have a special place in my heart. It's it was one of my main sports I played in high school.
Well,
we had a very good high school team.
Guys, while we have the time, let's just give a shout out to all the players on this Darien team. The forwards: Sally Cassidy, Kendall Wazinski, Sydney Schrenker, Elizabeth Jennings, a senior, Daphne Cutler, Lily Koulis, Olivia Stein, Molly Hellman, Issa Nusel. She is actually a transfer from Holland.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
So Holland, obviously, big field hockey territory over there. The midfielders, Kiki Tropsa, we've mentioned her name more than once tonight. Katie Elders, Bridget Mahoney, Shay Vandenbroek, Lindsay Wallach, Megan Smith, a senior. And the defenders, Hannah Regal, Carrie Blatney, who we mentioned her family a little earlier in the broadcast, Emily Schwartzman, Tala Garcia, Emily Nooner, Riley Joyce, and of course the goalies, Erica Blaze. We haven't mentioned her because she hasn't
Had a shot on goal.
She hasn't had a shot on goal, so she hasn't had too much going on back there. And then the second goalie is Grace Aronson, the junior.
Be careful what you wish for.
Yeah.
She may have a shot here coming up, and it would be nice to see. They're both working hard at the goalie position, both working with Robin, and come game time when some of these are tight. First corner. So she may be tested here.
I don't think as a goalie you could have a much better last name than Blaze. I think that's pretty cool.
That is pretty cool.
Although we have not seen her, Mo says she's very quick. We have not seen that quickness. We'll see it possibly here.
Right here. Good defense. So on that side of the field, Lisa, coming out of the cage.
Right.
So these girls are coming out like a bat out of heck here. Mm-hmm. They're ripping out of the cage. So is that the idea?
Yeah, you're trying to block the shot with your stick.
And you got to be pretty fearless to do that too with that ball. That's a hard. That ball is hard if it's coming at you.
Actually, in college, those players wear masks when they're coming out. And then after the play, they throw the mask behind the net, the end line.
Gotcha. Well, if we look all the way down there, and if you see a guy who's on his knees over there with a huge lens, that's Mark Maybell, who basically had the idea of starting this Darien Athletic Foundation. And the man did not pick up a camera until about 5 years ago. His father was the local photographer down south of Springfield, Illinois. A lot of people don't know that.
He's a Midwesterner.
Mark was, went to University of Illinois, went to business school at Indiana, very, very successful at Merrill Lynch, and has now been nothing but a giver to the town of Darien. And to kind of honor his father, he loves the pictures. And tonight, he'll take 3,000 pictures that he'll have to go through. You can go online to the Darien Athletic Foundation, pick those pictures up, download them for free, and it's tireless work. You'll see Mark at football games, at swim meets, at tennis matches, and town just has no idea how much time that takes.
Yeah. He's at every event.
And his pictures, for those who haven't seen any of them,
Yeah, they're amazing.
are terrific. I mean, they are really special.
So his son's a recent graduate of Villanova, played on the lacrosse team for 4 years. He played in the grade above the one I coached, and I used to always say, can you just, maybe hold him back a year? Graham
was a great athlete.
Great athlete. Football,
Lacrosse.
Even basketball. Just a great kid. I see him here in town, and like a lot of these kids, I wouldn't be surprised to see him in the stands right now. And they all want to stay up with what's going on in with the success of the program. Everybody likes to be part of something.
Had a chance to speak with Graham the other day. Hadn't seen him in a number of years, and had a chance to say hello. It was a nice reunion. I remember covering him when he played football, lacrosse, special athlete, as you mentioned. I know we have been talking about this a lot, but the visual of this is really something. These LED lights are different than anything I've ever seen. In fact, Darien now only the second school in Connecticut with these kinds of lights.
And if we can, we'll work with our photographer here just to show you how it comes down. And they actually even have, if you take a look at the poles, you'll see some light that's shining upwards. So it meets halfway. And so it basically cuts down any kind of glare.
Right.
See the little ones that are facing up. So they kind of meet at, I want to say probably at about 30 feet. And there, it softens the light. So if you're catching a football, if you're trying to catch a lacrosse ball, you're not gonna get that glare where you're gonna see it other places.
5:23 left in the game. Darien up 7-0. An impressive night, to say the least. Impressive all around, both on the field, what the Blue Wave has done, and as we were just talking about, these lights are very nice.
Debbie Murray stopping by the booth, a true Blue Waver. And again, one of the big supporters of the Darien sports programs, and another parent who is now got 2 kids at Wisconsin, former Ryan, former state champion on the football team, and a lot of people out here just coming out, not because their kids are playing, but because they want to be out on a Friday night and be part of a community.
It's almost a spring-like atmosphere tonight. The weather's just perfect. You got to be thinking, this is going to be nice come springtime to do this.
Toward the end of the spring, not when we begin.
True.
So that ball looked like it went off Ward. Okay, we'll have.
That's the one thing about the college lacrosse season. Even more so than the high school, is winter to Memorial Day, and it gets hot.
Yeah.
And talk about they're 2 ends of the
January.
spectrum.
Well, they start their games in February, but they're practicing in January, and then if you go all the way, you're playing on Memorial Day.
Another shot on goal for the Blue Wave. That was number 14, Lily Koulis. And another corner opportunity, as you mentioned, Lisa.
Just a bit of information. We're talking about field hockey. Julie Whiting, who's been in town, had 2 boys that played football, baseball here. She actually went to Arizona on a field hockey scholarship out of Darien.
I did not know that.
I didn't know that either. I just talked to her brother about it. And obviously, she beat the heck out of me in a paddle tournament one time. And great rackets player. And again, 2 boys who have done and are exceeding outside of Darien these days.
And the Darien football team looking pretty good tonight, up 21-6 at the half at Ridgefield. You talk about a tough opener to have to go against the team that you just beat in the state championship last season. To open up with them, the FCAC football schedule is tough, to say the least, as it always is. The FCAC, such a special conference in really so many sports.
Yes. Guy, talking about former field hockey players from Darien, one of the best field hockey players to ever come out of Darien
I know who
is
you're gonna
Leslie
say.
Milne.
Oh, there you go.
She's a former Olympian.
Wow. I knew she was good. I didn't know she was
Yeah.
that good. And then, when we think about this, you can go down a list of great athletes and great kids, but
Oh, here comes a breakaway. Nice ball.
good wheels, good quickness. But, Lisa, I thought you were going to say Hollis Perticone.
Oh, yeah, well, she's another one.
Hollis, who wasn't she the NESCAC? I'm sorry.
No, she was D3
Player of the Year.
Player of the Year, yeah. Midfield Offensive Player of the Year. D3 Defensive Player of the Year was Vanessa Budd.
Wow.
Which are two former players, which is phenomenal coming out of our program.
Holy cow.
Guys, we've been having a good time. There's only about a minute and 20 seconds left in this game. This has gone quickly.
It's, I think what they're doing, and I'm speaking of quickness, I am watching these players. Darien does not have a lot of, size, but they've got a great deal of quickness, and you could see it. Mo said that in the halftime interview with you both. She liked the long ball, which I think is fun. It's exciting for everybody, but it's, if you can do it and you can chase that ball down, get those shots. It's like dumping a puck in hockey, right?
Yep.
And go get it.
Play to your strengths, right? Speed, athleticism, quickness. If you have those three things, you can do that kind of stuff.
So, Lisa, what did you take off of what you learned in field hockey and you brought over to lacrosse? Where do they because you hear hockey and lacrosse kind of, they learn, those are lessons that they learn that they bring from one sport to the other?
Really, I don't know if there. I never thought there was that much transference. There's lacrosse and basketball are very similar in terms of how you play defense, offensive schemes, defensive schemes. That's why when I have basketball players, usually my basketball players are phenomenal defenders in lacrosse.
And that's a wrap. Well, you finished up that comment perfectly as the buzzer sounds. 7-0. Darien beats Fairfield Warde on opening night. The operative word being night here at Darien High School. First ever night game, and it is a successful one for the Blue Wave as Mo Minikis' squad gets the win 7-0 over Fairfield Warde. Impressive effort, to say the least, out of Darien.
Absolutely, they dominated the play. I think Ward had one shot on goal with one penalty corner. Mo should be really happy with their team's effort.
Looking down on that sideline, Mo Minikis, Sherry Ramsey, Robin Spivey, and Kari Johns. Again, not sure what you're ever going to get when you graduate so many players, but I would say this was an awfully good start for Darien.
It certainly is. Guys, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you on the broadcast tonight, a successful one at that, and obviously, as we just mentioned, Darien winning 7-0, but any final comments from you, Guy?
I'll tell you what, just happy to be here. I actually got goosebumps about 2 weeks ago when we turned on the lights.
And you canceled the flight out tonight to be here. That's a commitment.
Well, it's a commitment, and I'm glad I made it. And hopefully the Horned Frogs carry the day for me tomorrow in Arkansas. I'll be there in Fayetteville watching our the TCU Horned Frogs. But I could not miss tonight's being here, seeing the community, watching the kids under the lights. It's something I've looked forward to. A lot of people have, and pretty special night.
No doubt about it. And just a reminder, we will be broadcasting, live streaming the girls soccer opener tomorrow at Greenwich, our first road game. So myself, John Bradley, the Blue Wave boys soccer coach, and Barry Cronin, whose daughter, pretty good lacrosse player, right? Down at Duke now.
Down at Duke.
He'll be on the broadcast as well, so that should be a lot of fun. Thanks to both of you for being here tonight. This is we're going to do this again, Lisa, no doubt about it. And this has been a production of the Darien Athletic Foundation. Again, the final score tonight from Stadium Field here on the campus of Darien High School: the Blue Wave 7, Fairfield Warde 0.